Hey everyone, I'm James Walker, CEO of Lunchbox, and welcome to the first Future of Food, a podcast series where we are spotlighting industry leaders shaping the next generation of restaurants. Each month, we'll feature one standout brand making waves in innovation, growth, technology, or branding. Today, I'm excited to be sitting with Kevin Redding from Luna Grill. Luna Grill itself is a fast casual Mediterranean concept with 54 company-owned locations and counting, known for its clean label ingredients, made from scratch meals, and a commitment to healthy, flavorful food. Kevin brings more than 2 decades of experience in hospitality, food service, and catering, having held leadership roles at Qdoba, the University of San Diego, Evans Hotels, all before joining Luna Grill. He spent the last 5 years helping Luna Grill expand its catering and digital footprint, leading innovations in online ordering, menu strategy, guest experience. Kevin, welcome, and help me out with your title.
Recently, it got changed to Vice President of Sales and Community Engagement.
That sounds like you're showing some humility there. It sounds like you had a promotion and you're making it sound like they just changed your business card. So congratulations.
Sort of a little of both, yes.
All right, great. Well, listen, a great storied career. Luna Grill, I'm familiar with from my time living in California. And just reading the description of Luna Grill, I feel like if my wife was listening to this, she'd be like, that's what I keep telling you should be eating. That's going to put some pressure on me to dine healthier, I think, for the next few days.
Yeah, and that's actually where it started. Our founders, Sean and Maria Portimore, they were looking for a fast casual restaurant that had healthy food for their 2 daughters, and they just couldn't find one. So back in 2004, they started Luna Grill, really to feed their daughter some great food.
That's awesome. And, having that passion, I'm sure it continues through the concept today.
Oh, absolutely. They're still actively involved in the company. Everybody we bring on is on board with that. And so that's really what we push, is especially now with the Mediterranean diet out there. It's great. Healthy food, made in-house. Couldn't get anything better.
Awesome. So you ready to dive in? We've got a few questions for you.
Yep, certainly am.
So the first question is a little unusual. Kiss, marry, kill. From a condiment standpoint, how would you line that up? What are you choosing condiment-wise, kiss, marry, kill?
So it's a little bit of both. It's sort of a kill and a marry. We don't have the traditional ketchup, mustard, mayo, sitting on the table or behind the counter. We really lean into our own house-made sauces. So we've got 7 terrific sauces, which really are our condiments for our food. From tzatziki, which is your traditional one, to some great new ones, harissa, shug. Shug is sort of one of those unsung heroes that tastes great, chili-based. So that's really where the marry comes in. We're leaning into those, and our culinary team is always looking for new sauces to add to our menu. And those complement all our food, whether it's a bowl, a pita, or a signature plate. But as I say, it's sort of marry because we're leaning into it, but they're the house-made ones, not the traditional ketchup, mustard, mayo that you'd see in other restaurants.
Awesome. So we could almost say, kill on the traditional fast food. That's not where you are anyways. You're focused on quality, clearly in the fast casual area, and these specialty sauces that really, now I feel like not only do I have to eat better, I've got to go find somewhere I can have harissa tonight.
It's great.
So 2-part question for you, because they're going to get harder, but you get more points, I think. I'm not sure exactly how this will be scored, but the harder the question, the more the points. How has Luna Grill's approach to digital catering evolved over the past few years? And what role has technology played in shaping the guest experience?
Yeah, so it's really evolved since the pandemic. When I first came on board, I came on board shortly after the pandemic hit, and we had a catering software program. If you asked our IT director, it really was a big Rolodex. We leaned into it, started doing the online ordering, managing everything through it. So that's really helped us grow our business. And it's the same thing with our delivery partners. They've developed their technology where we can track drivers, and then it spilled over into our restaurant. So we've recently redesigned our mobile app. redesigned our website, and it's all really to re-engage the customer to how does a customer order and how do they want to order. And I think importantly is, and I think I've seen the line between catering and in-restaurant has changed. So it's not so much a guest picks up the phone because they want to call for a catering order, or they go to their mobile app or online to order in restaurant. It's sort of, hey, if I'm picking up my mobile app and I want to order catering, I want to be able to do it through my mobile app. If I've got a business meeting but I want 20 individual items, well, that's catering. So I'm going to call my catering person and I want 20 individual items. Where in the past it was, hey, it's your traditional buffet and catering. You want individual meals, you go to the restaurant. So that's really where it's evolved, is people want to order the way they want to order and what they want to order.
Yeah, so the next question I think kind of plays into that, right? How do you balance scaling digital orders while maintaining that high touch, hospitality, forward experience that you guys are known for?
The number one thing that we do is all our restaurants, whether it be the GM, the AGM, or we find a dynamic hospitality specialist, which is our cashiers, we make pre-calls and post-calls to all our catering customers. Catering is very much a high-touch customer relationship. It's not so much, I can go online and order from a computer, but we still want to make sure we have that human touch involved. And so that's why we really stress to our restaurants, you got to do a pre-call, you've got to do a post-call follow-up. We want the guests to feel as if they had walked into the dining room, ordered their meal, sat down and ate it, and they're still getting that touch that they would in a restaurant. And that's really, really important, especially in the catering world these days, where you may not see your customer, you're using a third-party delivery partner, who's doing that last mile for you. So we really want to make sure we stay engaged with our customer.
Fantastic. So customer experience doesn't end just because it started as a virtual order.
Not at all.
That's great.
And that's even more important. We started it a couple years ago, but the reaction that our GMs are getting from the guests going, wow, I didn't expect a phone call. Thank you so much for the phone call. So it's been tremendous.
Excellent. So you've been at Luna Grill a while now. What are you most proud of in your time?
It's sort of a dual thing. One, what I'm most proud of is in coming out of the pandemic in the last 3 years, we were able to double our catering revenue on same-store sales. But that comes from the tremendous team and family atmosphere that we have at Luna Grill. We could not have done that without the support of marketing, ops, our culinary team, and our sales team. I'm really proud to work for a company that really is family-oriented. Back in the day, I worked for a hotel company, and the philosophy was take care of your guests, take care of your employees or team members, and the money comes in the door. And that's really the philosophy is take care of the guests, take care of the team members, everything else will come.
That's great. I love that. That's old school restaurateur speak right there.
Yep, absolutely. And it holds true. It's never gone away.
That's great. So we touched a little bit on both elements of this next question. We talked a little bit about, kind of the build your own. We talked a little bit about pandemic. But the question is, how has your catering menu evolved post-pandemic, especially with innovations like that build your own buffet offering?
Yep. So as we talked about, during the pandemic, everybody went to, got to have individual meals, can't share from a buffet. So we really said, okay, we're going to open up our restaurant menu in order to still be able to do catering. I came on board, and as we got through the pandemic, people still were ordering that way, but instead of doing 20, it was, I want 100 or I want 150. And operationally, that's just sort of, it puts the kitchen in a great bind. So what I did is I said, well, let's create a buffet that will allow a guest to create their own bowl or their own salad that basically comes right off the menu that you would get in the restaurant. Makes it easier on the person who's ordering it. They don't have to go around to 50 people and say, what do you want to order? It's like, hey, we want the Build-A-Bowl buffet, and it comes with everything, and you can create a salad, a bowl, whatever you want to. I started doing it and was sort of, hey, I'm hoping to sell 1 unit per restaurant per week. We're upwards of 3. It's become over 20% of my business.
Wow.
So yeah, that was terrific. And now the restaurant's moving in that direction. They had been looking at it at the same time I was, but I said, hey, I really have a need operationally, and I think we can sell this. So the culinary team said, okay, let's bring it on in catering. And as it became more successful, it was like, okay, this is really something we want to do in the restaurant. And we're actually rolling it out towards the end of April, that you'll start seeing that happen in the restaurants.
So you're doing a great job at teeing up my next question. So my next question really is just asking you to double click on that. What are some of the ways your catering sales have been influenced by in-store operations and menu development?
So, and I'm very fortunate. I've got a great culinary team, and our vice president, or she's now our chief culinary officer. She and I worked together at Qdoba, and we came over to Luna Grill about the same time. But typically when they're doing product development, I get invited into the kitchen as well. And they want to know, they want to say, hey, here's what we're thinking about developing. Can you use this in catering? And I'll sit there and I'll look at it, and it could be, yeah, I think I can, or, hey, you know what? You're doing a hot version of this, but I could use a cold version of this in catering. Or, hey, I know that you're leaning in this direction, but I like this. Because we don't need to add any new SKUs, can I go with this version B while the restaurant goes with version A? And culinary team is typically, yes, if you can sell it, absolutely we can do it that way. And the other thing they work really hard on is really looking to say, hey, can this be transported in catering? They'll do the time test. Hey, let's see what it looks like in 2 hours or 3 hours. Does it hold up? So it's really, every time they put something into the restaurant, we're always thinking, can this go on catering?
That's fantastic. So now I've got more of those, maybe not kiss, marry, kill condiment questions, but questions that I think will really help everyone understand a little bit about you personally. So as an Ohio State alumni, not a small alumni group over there, but if you could cater one event at the Horseshoe, what would be on the menu to impress, say, 100,000 Buckeye fans?
Now, are we talking coming from the Luna Grill menu?
I'll leave it up to you.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Luna Grill menu because I think everybody will be satisfied. You're talking 100,000 people, so a buildable is a little bit tricky because you have so many different toppings and whatnot. So, I mean, I'd go with our regular signature buffet. But what I would do is I would add pitas to it. So if somebody wanted to make a plate, they could. But if somebody wanted to make a pita, and I'd include our terrific chicken kebabs, but I'd also do our gyro meat. Our gyro meat is really great, so having an gyro pita, and then you put some shug on it or some harissa. Yeah, I'd go with that because I think that's going to be an easy grab and go for a large tailgate.
Awesome. So no chili spaghetti.
No chili spaghetti.
All right, we are talking Ohio here, so
we are.
Great.
But you know what? Columbus, Ohio is one of those places that, willing to try new things.
Well, heavily influenced by just that massive student body out there as well.
Absolutely.
So are we going to see a Luna Grill on campus anytime soon?
Not at Ohio State, but, we're always looking for new avenues to where we can put a Luna Grill. Actually, in September, we will open, San Diego Airport is opening a new Terminal 1.
Wow.
And we've partnered with Arius, and we're going to go into the San Diego Airport, the new Terminal 1, with a Luna Grill.
Wow, congratulations. Aria's great operators. Love those guys. They have the best offices, right? Miami and Barcelona, yep. I think. Right? Very, very envious. So next question. We've seen the rise of artificial intelligence in food ordering. And artificial intelligence seems like every news blast I get from Inform is about artificial intelligence, or in this case, robotics. If a robot was to take over your job, what would you happily hand over to them?
Ooh.
And you can't say doing podcasts with James Walker.
No, absolutely not. You know what? It would be inputting the orders. So I would never give up the one-on-one customer interaction. But if I could walk over to a computer and say, James Walker wants A, B, C, D, E, F, delivered at 11 o'clock on Friday, here's the delivery address, that would be phenomenal.
And James wants A, B, C, D, E, F with extra harissa.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if I could have a microphone right here as you and I talk, and it picks up on it, and it just puts it on the screen as you and I talk, that would be great.
Awesome. Because I think our founder, Nabil, is probably listening somewhere and it's probably, maybe that's some functionality we need to add to the Lunchbox suite of products. So that's a great tee up.
Yeah, because you don't want to lose the customer interaction, but you want to sort of get rid of the menial tasks that, go along with it.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have for questions, and that just about wraps up our episode today. Thank you so much for joining us, Kevin, and thanks to everyone for listening to the very first episodes. You're our inaugural guest. You're the Steve Martin of this podcast.
I'll take that. No, I appreciate it, James. I appreciate you guys inviting me for the inaugural broadcast. Yeah, really excited.
Great. As I mentioned, our first episode of Future of Food, our mission is to share stories of leaders like Kevin here who are redefining what's next for restaurants. Kevin's certainly doing that over at Luna Grill. Really pleased for you to be our first guest. And you can catch this episode and all future ones on Lunchbox's YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and tune in next month for another interesting and informative conversation with another very special guest, and we'll find out which condiments they would kill. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thanks, James.